push day here with Mr. McMuscle. Pay attention if you want to get fucking massive. About to reveal the secrets, so pay attention. Six 75 on it for me, will you?
Let's get high to get 10 reps there with 60. These puppies.
So at the minute I start all my push days with a bit of calves. One day where I have bent knee, so this, see the calf raise with bent knee. One day where I have straight knee, just sort of work the calves in all areas. Also, at the end of leg day, when most people typically do calves, you're fatigued, you don't want to do it, and you're going to half-ass it. So what I found what works best is sort of do it at the start of either pull or push. When you're fresh, a bit of energy, and you can put more effort into it. And it seems to work well for my calves. Aaron's, however,
Do them every day.
we're not too sure about him, if it's working on him yet, though. Give him time. What I'm doing here is ab wheels, okay? So main function of this, it's an anti-extension exercise. So you want to be able to do this, you want to be able to roll out as far as possible without going into any real degree of lower back extension. So like your lower back arching or your upper back arching. So it's a good test for shoulder mobility, good litmus test for it. And it's also going to be a great exercise for your core and your abs and getting them all warmed up, getting your shoulders warmed up before we go into heavy pressing and stuff too. So it's a great one to have right before you start your pressing.
Never little wannabe gangster trying to play hard. Ding down, they just think they are. Never little wannabe gangster trying to play hard.
Yeah, so you'll see whenever he's doing this, he's doing his best to keep a neutral spine, so his lower back and his upper back is straight. He's not letting it arch or overextend. He's going to keep his knees, his hips and his ankles all in a straight line, keeping the toes in the ground. You're only sort of going out as far as you can maintain that sort of neutral spine. Once he starts to go out too far, you overextend and arch, you're going out too far. Now for the important part, dumbbell press. Pay attention if you want a set of pecs that look like glutes sitting on your chest. A pair of chesticles. Pay attention if you want to get fucking massive. Something you want to make sure you're doing in your warm-up sets as well. You want to treat every set exactly like you would treat a working set. So for me, I've got 2-3 warm-ups here along the way, but every set, I'm going to treat it like a working set. So whenever I grab the weight, I'm going to try to use the same tempo, the same exact form, and the same sort of focus, so that by the time I get to the working set, I'm already well warmed up, I'm accustomed to it. One thing you want to do is just try and make sure things are as consistent as possible all the way to the top, so the working weight will feel sort of as natural as possible. So you're going to have 3 main contact points during this exercise. You're going to make sure your feet want to stay in contact with the ground at all times. Your glutes, your ass, tight to the bench. There'll be a wee gap under your lower back, chest arched, scapula retracted on the bench. You're going to make sure all of those 3 contact points stay in contact at all times with as minimal movement elsewhere as possible. See the focus and intent he's bringing to the set as well. He's not just half-assing the reps. He's treating it as if it was a working set, nice and slow and controlled. Good focus. Pro tip, when you're doing dumbbell press as well and it starts to get really heavy, get a second bench, drag it over here so you don't actually have to deadlift it from the ground, because that deadlifting it from the ground, it's a lot of wasted energy, especially as the dumbbells start to get really heavy and you're strong. So pro tip, drag a bench over, sit your dumbbells on it, save energy. What? Another pro tip, as you get closer to your working set, this is his last warm-up. You want to reduce your reps, so he's going to do max 3-4 reps here. You don't want to be doing too many reps to fatigue yourself, because as you get closer to your working set, it starts to become more fatiguing, more taxing. So you want to do enough reps to get warm, get your nervous system ready, but not so many reps that you fatigue yourself, and then limit how much you can actually lift on your working set. So see if the reps for the sets that matter. That was easy as fuck. I think there's 60s there, man. For your top sets, always wrap up, elbow protection, stay safe. Whew. That was heavy. Fuck. Oh, take it. It's a win. Leg was about to cramp up the whole time there too, my hip flexor. Probably the single best movement you can do for your chest. If you want big juicy chesticles, like a set of glutes. Get strong at these and your chest will grow. Good. Good. Yes. Come on. One. Come on. Yes. Yes. Let's go.
Leave it. Leave it.
Come on.
Go. Cool.
They tryna talk, they not in a room. I've been so real, I'm dead to the tomb. They in the way, they gotta move. I got a gas, they running on fumes. Told them way back, it's something new. It's me or them, you gotta choose. I'm taking what's mine, I'm doing fine. Don't see the vision, they looking so blind. I hit my lower, I don't got the time. Crossing my T's and he dotting those eyes. Don't take offense if I do not oblige. I can't relate, but like none of these guys. They hit me once and I'm cutting the ties. I was so low, but I'm back on the rise, it's real.
D handles on these, loop them in around here, just like that. It's going to help more free movement at the wrist. It's going to feel a bit more natural. You're going to be able to get a far better squeeze instead of being locked in and restricted with the handles on the pec deck. So instead of D handles on it, it'll feel much better than the way I'm doing these two, sliding the ass forward on the seat. So it's going to create a bit of a decline angle. So we're going to hit more of that lower outer pec, get those juicy double Ds. Keep the chest out, shoulder blades retracted on the bench. Boom, just like that, keeping the shoulder blades tucked back. Deep breath on the bottom, inhale on the way down.
In a new gig, gotta shift. I cannot stick to the script. I cannot wait. Watch how I get it and flip. It's just how I'm doing this shit and I'm going. Just how I'm doing this shit and I'm going.
See the focus and intent every rep. You can see there's a slight pause at the bottom where he's in control, and then a slight pause at the top. He's really focusing on squeezing the pecs hard. Going to get the most out of it here by controlling it in the end range at the stretch and at the contraction. Really make the chest work hard. Squeeze the fuck out of it.
Yeah. It's heavy. Fingers up. Yeah, I gotta keep it trendy on my soul. I'm the most selfish person that I know. Here we go down the rabbit hole. Got a couple carrots from my neck. Self-respect. When you out of line, you put yourself in check.
Oh, right. Just arms to finish. Dessert. We've eaten our veggies first. Now we've dessert at the end. Oh. No, man, it's pavlova. Like. Probably too many calories for you, though. Right, single arm D handle push down. Great exercise for the triceps here. Some of the things we're thinking about. Don't let the shoulder up, keeping the shoulder depressed. Trying to have from the shoulder to the elbow, perpendicular to the ground. So not letting it come forward or back, trying to keep it straight and just pressing straight down, just like that, and close to the cam. Contract the triceps hard at the bottom. Make sure you're controlling it in the length and range here at the top as well. So slight pause, press down, squeeze the fuck out of it. Another thing as well is always try and, whenever you're, so the working arm here is the right arm. So with the left arm, I'm always trying to find something to hold on to keep me nice and stable as well, because I'm putting all this pressure on one side, can be a bit unstable. So trying to hold on to the machine here, keep me stable. That way I'll be able to put more force to the working arm.
I've been running, came out gunning, stopped the fronting on your words. What you hear, not what you heard. I'ma hate on every verb. I'ma show you what it's worth. Every day I'm on the earth till they put me in the dirt. I'ma get into it first. Said I'ma get into it first.
although Aaron jumped in the majority of the session with me today, sometimes here's where like the importance of individuality and like specializing a program to your needs and what your weaknesses and strengths are is important. So Aaron's arms are quite good, his triceps are quite good, so he doesn't need as much tricep arm volume as I do. His delts are a weakness for himself, so his coach has programmed more delt volume, so by the time we get to the end of the session, he's spending more time working on his weaknesses, more volume towards them, bringing them up, as opposed to just jumping in and doing exactly all of my program. It's okay from time to time, but that's why it's important not to just copy someone else's program online, because if you see your favorite fitness influencers work out online, chances are that's sort of specialized to their needs, their strengths, their weaknesses. So
Like clay, the party ain't maybe this way. I'm taking all of this left to the bank. I'ma deposit and see what it make. Shoot it, so it's reap. I paid a meter, I came in with Peter.
overhead tricep extension now. This is one that's incredibly valuable to have inside your program. Having tricep movements with the arm overhead, not necessarily because it's going to bias any one head of your triceps or anything special like that, simply for shoulder health, because think about it, how often during our day-to-day lives, how much time do we spend with our arms overhead? Not very much. So the problem with that is then you lose the ability to get your arm overhead, so you're not spending no time overhead in your day-to-day life, so you lose that mobility, lose that flexibility. So then you come in here, you try to do things like shoulder press, high incline press, and what happens is your shoulders aren't used to being there, so you're prone to injury. So spending time doing tricep movements or bicep movements like this with the arms overhead is going to be great for overall shoulder health and keeping that longevity, making sure you're able to lift for a longer, healthier period of time. So include something like this in your program if you want to make sure your elbows and shoulders function properly in 20, 30 years from now. Pro tip. Plus, your triceps will get jacked and juicy too.
Doing this at one top here on the side, because you can see me popping around.
Another tip as well is always make sure you can see yourself in the mirror, so you can see the pump, see how good you're looking. This when you look as good as this man here.
You crank that volume, turn it way up, way up, way up, way up.
Oh, another tip with these as well is make sure you're spending time in the lengthened range. So the stretch here, whenever you get to the bottom, make sure you're spending time here. Don't just be bouncing out of the hole as soon as you get there. That's where most of the benefit's going to be here, in that hole. So spend time in the hole. It's where it feels the nicest. If your shoulders feel like they need WD-40 every time you come in and you try to lift, right, this is a great exercise that's going to help your overall shoulder health. So high cable curls, like you'll see Aaron doing here, fantastic movement, not just for your biceps, but for the overall shoulder health. It's going to help work your serratus, okay? That's important muscle involved in stabilizing your shoulder. So you're going to have your arm high, right? So your forearm parallel, or your upper arm parallel to the ground, out at about 30 degrees, and you're just going to be curling towards your head. And it's going to be fantastic for keeping the shoulders healthy long term. Good exercise for the biceps too, but this is kind of a must have in your program. If you want your shoulders to function properly in 10, 20, 30 years from now, add this in your program. Thank me later.